Peace, love, and light, most blessings. Today, Moringa Monday, I'm going to bring to you just some information as it pertains to my experience, my journey, utilizing the miracle tree, how Moringa has changed my life, changed my approach to dealing with herbs, and also put me on the track of a botanist, being able to study the evolution of plants and how they have their impact on the bodies, and also being able to take specific plants to market to be able to utilize for commerce. So some of the moringa uses, as you can see behind me, 7 times the vitamin C in oranges, 3 times the potassium in bananas, 4 times the vitamin A in carrots, 4 times the calcium in cow's milk, and 2 times the protein in yogurt. So in most cases, when we think about the diets or just the health practices, let's use health practices instead of diets. But in the health practices of most of our ancient ancestors had absolutely nothing to do with fast food. It had absolutely nothing to do with the way that we treat animals today. I feel like just based off of research and then also just the frequency and the vibration that I resonate on, which is very similar to the frequency and vibration our ancestors would have arrived to as well. We didn't treat animals the way the animals are being treated today. We didn't. There's no record of our ancestors just brutally treating animals the way they do. And most comedic practices, they don't even view eating animals as a natural practice. So moringa is very ancient. It's a very ancient tree that's been around for a very long time. Ancient civilizations have stood by this tree as a staple food. And when I say staple food, I'm just saying like a food that we eat every single day. So if you look at the traditional American diet pyramid, as you can see, they're saying, you need to have X amount of eggs a day. You need to be eating this amount of meat per day. You also need to be having cereal, fruits and vegetables, and this, that, and the third. So moringa being utilized as a staple food, our eating habits were a lot different than what we would consider America's contemporary society to be today. Like I said earlier, Taco Bell, Burger King, and McDonald's were irrelevant. Those weren't even things that we were utilizing to fuel our light bodies. So moringa being something that has so much substance and the nutrient denseness of it being so elaborate, being able to view this as something that we should be using as a staple food, especially when you consider eating for your DNA or eating foods that are conducive to your genetics. One of the extreme benefits that I have experienced on my own personal journey utilizing moringa is the pineal gland health. The pineal gland is responsible for regulating your melatonin, which in some cases people say, okay, well, your melatonin is responsible for your wake and your sleep cycles. So during the daytime, when that sun comes in and it interacts with your pineal gland, which is this gland inside of your brain. In most cases, people have considered it to be the first eye. But how it regulates with your melatonin is that it allows you to carry out normal behaviors during the daytime, because as it interacts with your pineal gland, it releases certain chemicals like serotonin that allows you to understand, during this day cycle, you should be active, you should be moving, right? And you should be doing things. And then when the sun goes down, when there is no more light outside, that nighttime also interacts with your pineal gland by the absence of sunlight. That allows your body to understand, okay, well, now it's time to rest my body. So in most cases now in society, we see people are having, insomnia, having a hard time going to sleep, and they're leaning towards medication and drugs and things like that to kind of help them be able to get some rest. But the thing about Western medicine and pharmaceuticals is that once you utilize these pills for one issue, 3 or 4 side effects arise. So a very natural alternative to that would be utilizing the moringa tree to be able to help eliminate some of those first world issues, which is insomnia being one of them, based just on the everyday hustle of living in the Western world. So the pineal health, one other thing, melatonin, and we're really just brushing the surface, literally, with diving into pineal health, because it's also responsible for reaching higher levels of spiritual awakening, as well as governing your immune system. So your pineal gland is very essential in just your overall health and wellness. It's really sitting right here in the seat of your, of your Godhead. So you actually need to be able to have that function on an optimal level. And the moringa actually helps do that while pulling, some heavy metals out of the body, such as fluoride or, other different harmful chemicals. So that's one of the primary reasons why I would absolutely advocate for the daily usage as a staple food of moringa. Another way to go about it would be moringa has been used as well for anemia. Anemia being considered to be tired blood. So in the society that we live in today, if you go into most supermarkets or grocery stores, the only food that our ancestors really would have been patronizing would have been the fresh produce. They would have been in the fresh produce section, and that's what they would have understood as being fuel for the body. Because of our conditioning and our level of consciousness based on being in a colonized state, man, we be going towards the Pop-Tarts, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We want the Nutter Butters, the Nutri-Grain bars. We want a little bit of all of that. So the downside of using these over-processed foods at this point in time is that everything has soy in it, and soy actually prevents the body from absorbing iron. So to be able to offset that, I definitely would advocate for just reading the boxes before you purchase them and understanding what has soy in it. Soy, it prevents the body from absorbing oxygen, which is basically, producing an anemic situation in a person's body. But in men, it also heightens your level of estrogen, which has a negative effect on your body as well, not being balanced between your testosterone and your estrogen. So we definitely advocate for, spending a lot of time in the fresh produce section, minimizing your processed foods. And if you are going into the processed foods, being able to look at, okay, what food has high fructose corn syrup in it? What food has soy in it? What foods should we be trying to stay away from? The beneficial thing about moringa, we have some capsules here. We do monthly subscriptions. The beautiful thing about moringa is it doesn't have a whole bunch of ingredients in it. When you get moringa capsules, the only thing that you're getting inside these capsules is moringa. There's not going to be a whole bunch of, additives or this, that, and the third. These are actually leaves that have been taken from a moringa tree and dried out, grinded up into a powder form and placed into capsules. And so we do these capsules for 10 cents a capsule, monthly subscriptions, 1 month to 5-month subscriptions. You're going to get 60 capsules, in one bottle, which pretty much adds up to $20 per month, for the monthly subscription. But when I think about the overall benefits for moringa, it's something that we need to be using as a staple food. At the same capacity that we've seen some of our elders coming up where they have to put salt and they have to put pepper on everything. That seasoning, they just have to have it. Well, let's take salt out of it and let's enter moringa into it, and then be able to understand, okay, the overwhelming benefits of using moringa every single day to optimize your health. It goes without saying. So let's touch on some of the things that moringa can do. It offers pineal health. It also serves as a way to eliminate anemia, also removing the inflammation associated with arthritis, helping remove the mucus from your bronchial tubes, which cause asthma, serves to prevent some of the free radicals that create cancer. Naturally, on a plant-based nutritional plan, the constipation is going to be minimized. Diabetes by also lowering your blood sugar level, utilizing moringa, balancing out those interactions within your right and left brain that contribute to epilepsy, stomach pains, intestinal ulcers, headaches, heart problems, kidney stones. These are the things that moringa serves to be able to benefit for. And this is just a small list. So it's by no coincidence that they're actually considering moringa to be a miracle tree. And it's because it is definitely in service. And it's the genetic makeup of moringa. When you think about chlorophyll and plant blood and the similarities of the hemoglobin and the plant blood, almost identical down to the actual core where the hemoglobin goes to iron and chlorophyll in the middle goes to magnesium. They're pretty much identical. So it's showing you that our ancestors, when they were utilizing plants, they had a very vast understanding about the nutritional properties of moringa and a plant-based, health plan, and how they could make their body move to an optimal level, heightened level. So a lot of the times, being in the Western world, especially in North America, the United States of America, this country has a very cannibalistic and carnivorous origin. So the fact that we, as indigenous people, being up under a colonial regime, have come to the conclusion that we had to have meat in every meal, was a byproduct of us taking on some of the attributes and the habits of the group of people who are responsible for colonizing us. And I'm not saying that meat is a total bad thing. I'm saying that the process in which animals are being herded into slaughterhouses for us to consume them, based on just the cosmic karma of those situations, you can't eat that meat and expect for it to do anything beneficial to your body, because those particular animals didn't have a beneficial life to be able to carry positive energy to be able to put into whoever's consuming it. It's just the circle of life, So that's why you see how people, they're eating halal or they're eating kosher based off these, some of these approaches to dealing with animals. But if you look at these massive butcher houses and things of that nature, they're not practicing that. So we're talking about these two vast polarities. One being the utilization of a plant-based, nutritional plan, utilizing moringa as the foundation for it, and contemporary Western society that has this overconsumption, indulgence into utilizing animal food, animal products, blood and rare done, these type of things. So think moringa, utilize it. You can get it here at creationsociety.com. Hit the link in the bio, check it out, use it for yourself. You want to start off with 1 month, 5 months, maybe you get some for your family. Shout out to Ethiopia, because without Ethiopia, I wouldn't have came into this level of consciousness to be able to bring this information to you. So definitely want to give a shout out to the origin of our thinking. So peace, love, and light, most blessings. Let's continue.